The SCCA Solo Rulebook is 390 pages long. With 47 classes, it's a little confusing, so let's simplify it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Counter Steer Garage. Today, we are going to cover all of the major classing groups for SCCA Autocross competition. Now, first we got to talk about your overall category. Now, this depends on your level of modification. Sometimes one silly mod can bump you into a class that you can't be competitive in, so you got to be careful. We're not going to cover every single modification in this video. We'd be here for days, but we're going to cover the basics so that you can get a decent idea of where you belong. Make sure you check the SCCA rulebook in the link in the description for all of the specific classing details. Street class. The intention of street class is to provide a low barrier of entry and a very minimal impact on daily street-driven use. It's affectionately known as the daily driver class, but you will find some complete nut jobs who build their car to the absolute limit of the street class rules, like this car here. Street class allows you to replace the dampers, but not the springs. So you can go with an adjustable shock, but you have to keep the OEM springs. You are allowed one sway bar. Make it count. You can replace your brake pads, but pads only. You can replace your wheels with something bigger, something smaller. You get plus or minus 1 inch, but the width has to stay the same. You are allowed any 200 tread wear competition tire as long as it fits on the wheel. Size is unlimited because you're limited on the wheel width. So if it fits on your wheel, it's allowed. For power, you are allowed a drop-in air filter similar to a K&N and a catback exhaust or axleback exhaust. Everything from the cat forward must stay stock. That's pretty much it for street class. Now, street touring builds upon street class with more performance-oriented modifications while still keeping the cars somewhat streetable. Now, street touring unlocks almost all suspension modifications as long as they don't have spherical bushings and they bolt into the stock locations. Things like coilovers, camber plates, sway bars, even camber arms you can replace. You're only allowed one adjustable arm per corner, but it's pretty wide open, especially over street class. You do now get the option for brake upgrades, things like big brake kits, rotors, steel lines. Now, wheels are also much more open. However, street touring has a handful of subclasses, and the wheel size depends on what subclass you're in. So check that link in the description. Check that SCCA rulebook to figure out what subclass you're in to determine what size wheels you can run. Tires are similar to street class. 200 tread wear competition tires are allowed and encouraged. The width is limited based off your subclass. So check the rulebook, figure out your subclass to figure out what your actual allowed tire width is. For power, you can modify before the throttle body and after the cat. Everything in between, the engine, the manifolds, things like that must stay, but you could do a cold air intake, you could do a catback exhaust, things like that. You could also tune the car, but you must tune it for pump gas. E85 is not allowed. Class allows you to swap out your shifter to something you more prefer, as long as it stays mechanical, and you can swap out the battery for something lightweight. And that's street touring. SSC is solo spec coupe. All of the modifications allowed in this class, you buy as a kit. So you go on Tire Rack, you buy an SSC kit. It comes with the dampers, the springs, the sway bars, everything that you're allowed to do in this class comes in that one kit. You can't stray from that kit. It's a pretty cool class. It's about as spec as you can get in autocross, and the competition is fierce in this class. Because it's spec, a lot of the good drivers have gravitated towards this class, so the competition is insane in SSC. Street prepared is where we start to see the real race cars. Trailers are common with street prepared cars. We're talking slicks, we're talking aero, we're talking fabrication, engine swaps, all of the goods. You'll notice behind me there is no street prepared car. That's because there's one at this event and he's out on course at the moment. But I got some B-roll of him, so let's roll it. Now, suspension rules are largely similar to street touring. It does open up spherical bushings and some other goodies, but it all must still bolt to the stock location. Brakes are now unlimited as long as you stay bigger than stock. Wheels and tires are now virtually unlimited. Get out that Sawzall and give Hoosier a call. We're now allowed more power modifications. You could do intercoolers and charge piping. You could remove the cat, and you can now independently control boost. And the coolest part, you can update and backdate engine swaps. As long as they're from the same model, you can go newer, you can go older, and we finally have aero allowances. You could do a front splitter, you could do a rear spoiler, not a wing, a spoiler. And that is the basics for street prepared. Let's see what the big boys are doing. Street modified. Street modified is virtually unlimited. It's very much a run what you run class. It includes everything from street prepared plus bigger splitters and wings, including multi-element wings. You finally get the allowance to run smaller brake rotors for weight saving. You can now upgrade your clutch and your flywheel to lightweight, high horsepower application units. Full suspension modification is now unlocked. You could do heim joints, you can do dampers, springs, whatever you want. You can do adjustable arms to your heart's content. It's virtually unlimited as long as it bolts into the stock location. Do whatever you want. For power, you can now mod the engine to your heart's desire. You can do intake and exhaust. You can add forced induction. You can swap out the valve train. Have fun, I guess. And now, finally, you can reduce weight. You can do carbon fiber body panels. You can replace the seat and the steering wheel. The only thing you still cannot do is strip the interior. The full interior must stay for street modified. And I guess that's where the street in street modified comes from. Classic American muscle. The only rule in cam class is that there are no rules. Do whatever you want as long as you got 200 treadwear tires. And as long as it's American, I think, right? Basically, that's the rule. That's cam class. Have fun. Now, not all cars are created equal. Not all cars respond to modification the same way. So once we have our category, then we have to determine our subclass or PAX class. These are multiple levels within a class, and they are based off of your year, your make, and your model. For subclass, you're going to want to check the rule book because it changes constantly, and by the time I post this video, SCCA may have changed it. So make sure you check the rulebook. Again, link in the description. Appendix A is where you'll find all of your PAX classes. Look up your year, make, and model, and that'll tell you what your PAX class is. And that is all we have time for today. I hope this video helped you at least figure out what class you're in or what class you want to build your car for. If you made it this far in the video, you are an absolute legend. If you like my shirt, hit up notfamousracing.com/ApexHunter to get yourself one. If this video helped you, give it a big thumbs up. It helps me and it helps you. We drop a new video every Taco Tuesday, so make sure to hit that subscribe button right over there somewhere. And I'll see you guys next Taco Tuesday.